church is supposed to be a family, and so I wanted to get married in front of my family, but also my church family, and that was taken away from me, not being able to get married in a local church. My name is Sam. I'm married to Dan. We've been married for a year and a month, and we met in October 2017. We met on Tinder. In our wedding speeches, Dan thanked the creator of Tinder in his wedding speech. We started dating in the October, and we were engaged the following year, and looking for someone to get married, and then eventually got married last year. So we got engaged in November of 2018. It was the first week of Winter Wonderland and the Christmas market opening in Cardiff, and it is my favourite time of year in my favourite city. So I had a plan that after my night shift we were going to go down, catch the train into Cardiff and walk around the Christmas markets and Winter Wonderland, and I was going to propose in Cardiff city centre. I'd asked Dan to be ready for when I was waking up, and he wasn't ready, so I was already annoyed at him. And then we got to the train station to catch the train in, and the train was an hour late. And then when we were on the train eventually, Dan told me that his mum was meeting us in Cardiff, and this was very unplanned. So I was panicking, trying to ask when his mum was coming into Cardiff. But eventually we made it in. We had a chance to walk around the city centre on our own, to walk through all the Christmas markets, to walk around Winter Wonderland, and then under the Christmas lights and the Christmas tree on the Hayes in Cardiff, I asked Dan if he would marry me, and that I really declared my love for him and how happy he made me and how amazing he had treated me over the past year, and I wanted to be with him forever. I didn't grow up as a Christian really. I always believed in God, but I wasn't taken to church every week as a child. But when I was a teenager, I really started to develop my faith. So I was going to a local evangelical church when I was a teenager. Had a believer's baptism there, and I was out as well. I was out to the church as gay, and then when I started dating people, I didn't tell them I'd started dating, because I knew the theology meant that I should be celibate if I was gay. So when I met Dan, I wrote a letter to the leaders of the church, explained that I was in a relationship, explained that I was going to marry this person that I had met 3 weeks before when I wrote this letter, and asked them to confirm their position on same-sex marriage in the church and what that could look like at that church. And then within 2 months of me writing that letter, I was asked to resign my membership and asked to step down from the leadership roles that I held there. And so that had an impact in how I would look for a church in the future to worship in, but also to get married in and serve in, and influenced a lot of what I did next in my church journey. So after that I found the Gathering, and that's how I developed these relationships and friendships with the people that go to the Gathering, with the people that lead the Gathering, to enable me to have a religious blessing on my marriage, and to have prayers led and hymns sung at my wedding, but really done on my terms then, because I couldn't find a church local to us that would do that. So I wanted to get married in a church, because the church means a lot to me. I work full time, but since I became a Christian, I've worked in churches as well. I spend a lot of my time in churches and serving churches, and that's part of my faith, is that I get to celebrate every bit of my life with the people that I worship with every week. That's really hard to not have a local church where you can get married. I'm part of a church at the moment where I still can't get married, or wouldn't be able to get married. And yeah, knowing that does hurt. I think the benefit of it now is that I'm stronger now and I know more about myself and about theology and about God's love, that I can be there through that change, because change is happening in that church. But at the time, yeah, it definitely hurt to not be able to have even that option of getting married close to where you live, close to the community that you live in, where my family live. That is a big hurt. I always said that if I was engaged to someone, I was engaged to be married. I wasn't engaged to be engaged for years. So we started planning the wedding in the next couple of weeks, and started looking at venues that we might want to get married in, and also where we'd like to get married, whether we want a church marriage, and what churches we could get married in. At the time, I was in the Gathering. The Gathering was my church, and we were allowed to get married in the building that the Gathering uses in Cardiff. They allow same-sex marriages there, but none of the churches local to where we actually live outside of Cardiff allow that. So we were really limited, we thought, in where we could get married in a church. We eventually found our venue and decided we'd have a legal civil marriage in the venue, and have a blessing afterwards. And the amazing Reverend Dell, who also leads the Gathering with me, officiated our blessing. So we had our legal ceremony, a small gap for the registrar to run off so they don't hear anything religious, and then for Dell to start her blessing and give us a really personal message and blessing into our marriage. And really established a sense of love in our marriage home that we just moved into before our wedding day as well, by providing us with a doormat with a heart shape on it, our love mat. We have to stand on it if we have an argument and make up, and be reminded of the vow and commitment that we've made to each other to love each other forever.